You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Well, Palmiotti, what's up? It's your boy Al Mega. You know what time it is. It's another epic episode of the Comic Crusaders podcast coming at you. And today we got a real treat. This one is straight up explosive, just like the comic book we're about to dive into. Let me tell you, right? Because what are we talking about today? A little something called Pop Kill. That's right. It's a brand new, high-octane, soda-fueled war story straight out of Mad Cave Studios. We're talking corporate espionage, killer action, and the kind of storytelling magic that only these two folks I'm about to bring up on stage can deliver. Let me first bring up return guest, the big boss, all the way from parts unknown in Florida, the one, the only Jimmy Palmiotti. What's up?
Hey, Al, what's happening, buddy?
Hey, thanks for coming through, bro. I can't wait to talk. And I have, because this time I also have a partner in crime of yours. Why? You're an amazing artist, co-creator of Ben 10. I mean, a big boss, a living legend, a man that's more suave than 007, from what I've heard. Mr. Dave Johnson. How you doing?
Big Dave.
Doing good, my friend.
Look at that celebration, man. It's fireworks when Dave is on screen, let me tell you.
I think his hotel's on fire.
Excellent. Yo, guys, thank you for coming on. And folks, we're in for a treat. I have a PowerPoint. You're going to see some beautiful art. We're about to find out about a dope book that these two guys, it's out right now. You guys, right? It dropped February 26th, correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's out. It's in all the stores. If they still have them, they're in the stores right now.
If they have them, exactly. Because, again, it dropped already. So, hopefully you're lucky enough to get your hands on them, folks, all right? So make sure you do, because it's a beautiful book. And now, with a title like that, right, it's crazy. That alone pops off the page, right? So what's the crazy, over-the-top elevator pitch that'll get everyone hooked on this book?
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, basically, I came up with the idea years ago to, base it around two cola companies really, really hating each other. And, so much so that they would have a team, each of assassins, saboteurs, and it kind of spawned from there. And over the years, I kind of kept it in the back of my mind. And then, Jimmy was very successful with all his Kickstarters and stuff. And
he's a legend on that.
Yeah, and I'd been wanting to work with Jimmy for a while, and I had the bones of the idea, but I knew I needed a little bit more flavor, a little Italian flavor.
Little spice.
Yeah. I called up Jimmy, and he didn't run away from the idea, and we collaborated on it, and here we are. We're making it happen.
I'm curious, Dave, because we grew up back in those soda wars, Pepsi, Coke, whatever. I mean,
exactly.
were you in that type of conversation or lane when you actually thought of the story? Like, you know what, this will make a funny comic book.
Yeah, well, originally it was about a robot and a girl, and it was set in the future, and the robot was basically programmed to go after the competitors, cola machines and whatever. And once again, over the years, that kind of went away, and I decided that it would be better to set it in a more modern, realistic setting, but still make it fun and goofy in my own sense of humor style. I just dig that kind of stuff, so I went with that aspect of it.
Yeah, Al, I used to when I went out of high school, I went into advertising, so I worked in advertising for 9 years, and one of my clients was Pepsi.
Pepsi. Word, okay.
Yeah, so and I got to see firsthand how insane they were, because if anybody from that company came up to our office, we had to hide all the competing Coke,
really?
any kind of Coke cans had to go leave the building. Anything that was their competition, we had to clear out. Otherwise, they literally would talk to you and they would stop and just look at the thing. until you grabbed it and moved it away. But
That sounds like a
I definitely
sitcom.
got a little bit of that when I worked in advertising. A little of that brand wars going on between Coke and Pepsi, for sure, because they were both competing on how we're going to do the next soda, what's going to do the next soda. I even worked on a campaign for a thing called Pepsi AM, and it was morning Pepsi, and it had like 3 times the caffeine in it, and they tried it out in 3 states, and it completely bombed. You know, because people were like shaking and
People were
um,
shaking, man. And now we have Red Bull, folks, right?
right now we have Red Bull, but you know, so when Dave came up with the idea, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun because I definitely understand the idea that you know, two companies hate each other so much, but having them also be brothers made it just that much more fun. That was Dave's great idea. It was a
Uh,
great idea,
But I
and
find that interesting, though.
yeah,
Dave, did you have any knowledge at all that Jimmy had prior worked with a soda type
No,
property?
not
Interesting.
at all. Not at
It
all.
was
Not
meant
at
to
all.
be.
I have a lot of stories from like my 20s to my 40s. There's a lot of things I did, a lot of things, but you know, honestly, with Dave and I, it was just a chance to work together because we're buddies, and
Okay.
you know, he pitched the idea, and you know, I gave it some thought because I'm like saying, okay, so how do we sell this? Because you know, initially the initial pitch, if you hear it, it's kind of an odd comic book concept idea. Like I will give credit to Dave and the designers, like to just do this as a book. When we kickstarted it, we were laughing because we were like, we didn't know what reception we were going to get on it, but we figured, all right, let's give it a shot. And it went to prove, for me, it went to prove that like anything with like, besides being a fun comic, the design and the cover, the logos, like the whole, we actually built a world really quick um,
Nice.
that didn't exist before we got in there, and I think that is part of the appeal of it. That it feels like almost like you know this world in a way, but it's an alternative kind of thing going on.
Yeah, believe it or not, one of the hardest things that I had to do was come up with two cola names, cola company names that haven't already been used and
Yeah.
sounded realistic. You know, I can't tell you how many times I'd come up with something, then I'd go research and find out there's already a cola named that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So,
They're
I
both for
wanted.
sale too. They're both available. If any multi-million-dollar company wants to buy either
Hey.
name of either soda company, it is for sale.
Well, and the funny thing is, the third cola company in the story, the RC Cola, if you will, of
Yeah.
our story, I came up with the name Prime Pop, and now there's a Prime energy drink,
Oh, so okay.
and I'm like, well, maybe we should look into legal, like we had it first,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
so
doesn't sound as good as Prime Pop though. Like Prime Pop's so much
yeah.
better.
That
You
sounds,
know.
yeah, it sounds way legit. And listen, that's something you could definitely do a Kickstarter. What's up, everybody? Thanks for everybody tuning in and checking out what this book is going to be all about. I mean, so you guys been working, in the industry for a minute. I mean, doing your things, bringing about great stories. So, but how did you guys actually connect? Dave, you said you always wanted to work with him. So, when did you first meet Jimmy? What was that? Like what I call the promance.
Oh my God. I honestly, I'm terrible at remembering like things like that. But I mean, I've known of Jimmy for longer than I've actually known him. Of course. I mean, he got more into the industry. Well, I don't. When did you start, Jimmy?
Like
What year did you start?
officially, like Marvel, my first Marvel work was 91, I
Okay,
think.
well, we got into the industry about the same time.
I kind of remember. I went down to Beijing, and I met everybody there. Me and Amanda went there, and we met everybody. All you guys were playing video games, but we walked around. We walked around and like saw everybody, and I think we were Adam's guests because Amanda knew Adam. Actually, Amanda knew Adam from like years before or something. And I met you guys just quickly, But I think it was, it was probably when we started hanging out, probably at cons. That's usually like
Yeah.
after a con, we'll grab a beer and then we'll start talking. And all of a sudden it's like I knew Dave my whole life instead of just, that con. So it is a funny business where we have so much in common. Like the group of creators have so much callbacks to things that either you get along right away or you don't get along at all. Like there's
Yeah,
some people you
exactly.
just get along at all, or you get along right away. But we for me, it's I've always liked collaborating with other creators. Like it's one of the things I love doing. And there are creators that do not like that. There's writers that do not like collaborating. I am one of them. I mean, from working with Justin, working with Amanda, with Dave, and I like it because I feel like the product is better when there's another set of eyes on it. So
yeah, I'm the same way. I'd rather write with somebody and just flow back and forth, and you come up on brick walls story wise, but one of my favorite things to do is find a way around the brick wall that makes sense, which sometimes it makes it very hard to watch movies when I feel like they run into a brick wall and they just say, well, the brick wall's not even there. And I'm like, well, no, the brick wall's still there.
have you been
just come
watching
up with a
Reacher?
dumb way to justify your story.
I
Dave,
love
have
that
you been
show.
watching? That's how they write Reacher. I feel
Oh,
like they write him into a corner and they just make up something to get him out.
oh yeah,
Exactly.
they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely right. They do. I love that show, and I think he make a better Juggernaut than a Batman. That-
Well,
Yeah,
true.
he's too stiff for Batman. Like
yeah,
he's not. Batman's got to be like flexible. Yeah, he's kind of Reacher is like you're right, like a
he's a he's a
an
bigger dude.
immovable object.
Yeah. Boy, even that guy Paulie from this season. Jesus Christ, that dude is even bigger than Reacher. That dude is
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Right?
Dave actually told me he could kick both their asses. I don't know if you know that.
That's why he's in Turkey now. He just, he said it.
He's
And he has to take
he's
the
hiding
Turkey.
out in Turkey right now.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Come get me a turkey.
So let's talk about this baby. I mean, because look at this gorgeous cover. Somebody over here loves the pug.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to me. Who are the major players in pop kills? Like, what's popping, man? Because with this is some crazy 007 espionage. Wow. Like, okay, there's some grimy business going on here.
Yeah,
Well,
that's the main characters on the cover. I mean, not the pug so much, but
well,
the main.
he's
That's
part
Dina,
of it.
he's part
Come on.
part of it. He definitely plays a role. But that's Dina Deluxe and there's John Pyle, and those are our two main characters. Everything kind of revolves around them. All the drama revolves around them, and then there's amazing logos and those bottle caps, man. How we didn't make bottle caps and bottled soda to promote this is beyond
Oh
me.
man, remember the
But
play bottle caps back in the day in the street? I don't remember that, Jimmy.
yeah, I would have loved like for each book you get like a little bag with like 5 caps in it so you could play caps. Would have
Yeah, yo.
directions how to play with the soda caps. That would have been amazing.
Oh,
Um,
dude,
Not
dude.
saying you can't do it one day, but
Oh
Well,
wait, convention special. You make a few limited edition for a con to sell with the graphic. There you go.
whenever you do that at a con, it's called kissing your money goodbye.
Yeah.
true.
But they're fun.
Uh,
But we are both. But Dave and I are both people that love merchandise connected to books. We love the idea that if somebody made the soda bottles or the cans, how cool that would be.
Yeah,
But
man.
so back to your question. Dina is a scientist who works for, I believe, Popso.
so yeah.
And she's a scientist. She's on the verge of creating a formula that will make soda fizzier, like 50% longer. So you're talking about a soda that wouldn't go flat before you could finish it, And the other side finds out about her plan to do this, and they activate their guy, John, who begrudgingly works for them. He's not a fan of them. To find her, try to seduce her, steal the formula. But if he can't do that, then to kill her, because they'd rather have nobody having it than the other side.
Grimy.
But then when he meets her, he decides, well, maybe there's a third option, which then sends everything into chaos. So.
Oh my goodness. look at that beautiful artwork. Look at that opening pages and the panels, yo. Whereby.
Yeah, it's Juan Santa Cruz did a beautiful job on this book. I work with him a lot, and there's not a lazy bone in Juan's body. He will go in there and draw every single thing he can think of in the page. And just the first panel with the hole cut out of the fence, I thought it was
Yeah,
beautifully.
dude.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, we're really pleased with the way it came out.
Yeah, and he's got like a European sensibility than an American comic sensibility, which is kind of nice because it's not a superhero book, you know.
Right.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was the biggest surprise that it's done so well as a non-superhero, non-supernatural, non-anything super except just super weird, funny, goofy story. You know, that's got a lot of fun and action in it. So I'm tickled pink that how well it's doing. So
how much fun and real research though that you guys do here, you know, to create this universe? You said that you guys kind of did it quick. I mean, really? I mean, like, what happened? Was it a nice little drinking session, you know, on Zoom, little puff pass? Like, what's popping here? Let's do it like this because the energy behind it is just wild and fun, but wicked. But you know, like,
Well, we did initially, you know, we set a page count, right? So it's 4 issues, and I think it's
yeah,
32 pages per story. So we knew we had to tell the full story in 128 pages, right? Totally. And so there's that, and then you know, Dave came in with the basic story. We broke it down into chapters because it's, you know, how we saw the story going. And then, you know, a lot of it is just back and forth, like what would work here and what would be fun there. And then, you know, it's funny because you write this stuff and you get to know the characters a little bit more. So it gets easier to write as you go because you hear their voices now. Now we gave them voices, and then getting the pages back from Juan, we got visuals right away. So it actually, like, it's part of the writing process is to visually see what we're doing. And Dave, you could talk about that because that's his thing, you know.
yeah, I mean, in designing the look of all the characters, you know, I wanted to make them, you know, unique enough looking that there wouldn't be any confusion from the reader. Initially, the two brothers, the former Siamese twins, initially they were going to be connected at the spine, and they would be like a crab where they had 4 legs, 4 arms,
oh
but they
damn,
could never face each other. And I had this idea that they would be in there. There would be 2 towers for each company with a sky bridge, and they would come into work, and this wall would come down and form around where they were attached, and they would secretly plot against each other, even though they were literally attached at the spine. But I guess that was just too weird, and we went with former Siamese twins, where they each lost an arm, and that made a little bit harder or a little easier to swallow, I guess.
It's we grounded it a little more than making it a complete sci-fi or fantasy thing. We kind of grounded it a little more in reality, and so it makes what they're doing a little more intense, I think. You know,
Yeah,
when it's fantastic, you know, you have a million outs, right? Anything can happen when it's over the top fantastic. Although I do love the idea that Dave has with the wall and everything. Like, that's so
yeah,
much fun. I can't, you know, just the idea that they can't yell at each other anymore once they, you know, finally silence, kind of thing.
yeah,
But we do some stuff, like we made sure their competing offices were, like, they could see each other from their top offices, their buildings for each company, they could see each other. So they're always making notes for each other. You'll see in the second and third issue they terrorize each other. That way, you know, just if the villain's not interesting, the book's not going to be interesting.
absolutely.
Right.
exactly.
So you know, Dave out of the gate came up with a great concept with them, and then we just kind of blew it up a little bit and had some fun with it. And again, there's a lot here. This is not a comic you read in 2 minutes. You know, this is something you dig. It's extra pages, so you got 32 pages per book, and there's a lot of stuff going on, So this is definitely, if you're gonna read it in the bathroom, it might be like a 2 or 3 dump book. That's nothing you can do. I don't think you can do it in one dump. I just don't think so.
Well, maybe if you had a lot of dairy, it might be, a
Maybe,
dump and a half.
yeah, constipated, maybe, who knows?
Man, I'm thinking, who's the colorist there? Because the colors do pop as well, or did the artist also do the coloring?
No, it's a gentleman named Brian Reber, longtime industry vet. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah,
Also,
pop.
he was tasked with taking the two company logos and placing them in places, and that was one thing that I really wanted to drive home. Also, is these companies are about branding. I wanted to see those brands in the story, all over the place, wherever we could fit it in. I wanted a Popso logo or a Fizz One Cola logo somewhere on the walls, on the TV, in advertisements, on cans. So I think that worked out really well.
They're already pushing you guys to go ahead and make that custom soda.
Yeah, there you go.
I want to see this. All right, so Mad Cave. Talk to me how you guys wound up, talking to Mad Cave and bringing this baby on over there.
Well, I'm friends with Mark Irwin, who is now the publisher, or he's not the owner, but
yeah,
he's officially the publisher. Okay.
Yeah.
And I've known him for almost 25 years now, and he started out as an inker, and he's just a great guy, and he's jumped around with various companies and stuff, trying to get out of the inking and trying to get more into the editing and the behind the scenes. And man, he landed at Mad Cave at the right time, and it was like they just love each other. They're working great together. And after the Kickstarter, I just approached him and I said, hey, we've got this book. It did really well in Kickstarter, but Kickstartering doesn't, it has a core audience, but it's not like a large, widespread audience like a publishing, company has.
Mhm.
And so I thought there was still meat on the bone, that if we were to actually publish it at Mad Cave, there'd still be people out there that had never heard of it, never bought it. And they agreed. And, since the book was already pretty much done and paid for, we worked out a deal, and which is good for them and good for us. And we went forward. But, it was still a crapshoot. I mean, nobody could have ordered it, but it went the other way, and it's really doing really well. So, the book, the book is paying off.
Excellent. I'm not surprised, because people do want different. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Not that superheroes are boring, but hey,
well, they do want different, but a lot of times they don't, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have 16 Batman books and 9 X-Men books.
And another reboot of Batman, right? Another #1 coming out.
Yeah.
Soon.
So I mean, I think there's ideas that stick, and there's ideas that stand out. I think visually, Pop Kill was nothing like anything out there. Everybody's, even the creator-owned stuff. There's a lot of different genres, but I can honestly say I don't know anything like Pop Kill. It's completely different than everything I've seen out there. So it's kind of we got lucky, and it came out at the right time, because not only the sales were big, but the orders were more than we ever dreamed they could be. And it's a hit. It's a hit for us, and it's a hit for Mad Cave. So it's pretty cool.
I'm digging it. So is it going to be a tour? I was say a weirdly delicious combo of Harley Quinn and beloved Harvey Pekka American Splendor Pop Kill #1 in shops now. That's what they're talking about here. It's beautiful. I mean, it is a gorgeous book. So what's the tour looking like? Are you guys going to be popping off when any conventions have copies of this book? Are we going to get soda?
I would love to do a tour, like just Dave and I kind of getting on planes like for 5 days in a row and bouncing around. But
Yeah, you usually have to plan that, and we really, once again, we were just hoping that, or at least I was hoping that Mad Cave didn't lose money on it,
Right.
and so it, like if we knew it was going to be this big, yeah, we would have done a tour, but
Well,
you don't know
Dave did
till
do
you
a
know,
signing. Dave did a signing at Golden Apple in Los Angeles.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, lots of people
And
came.
yeah,
We signed a ton of books.
yeah, you
Yeah.
had some guy try to join you at your signing. Some guy that needed attention. Dan Panosian, that guy needed some attention, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, that
Oh,
guy's
But
shit.
yeah.
yeah, and I actually, because I work in the office at Emerald City Comics in Clearwater. I just signed all their copies. They ordered like a good maybe
Right.
100 of them,
Oh, nice.
and I signed most of them, and they're all gone. So
Wow.
yeah, so we're really really excited about that. And number two comes out in a couple of weeks, I think, right? In a week or two. So
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
um,
in about 2
well,
weeks if it's going on monthly.
yeah, so
Excellent.
we're
Yeah, and
excited.
also having those we had some really great variant covers on the first issue. I think that really helped to get the word out. We've got for the rest of the books, we've got some really good
That's the
lineups.
one.
Yeah,
I don't want to get your channel in trouble, so I'm
No, no,
covering.
I see. I see. There you go. I see what's going on there. Oh
yeah.
yeah. No.
This is the one. This is the one that comes
And the-
in a bag, right?
oh,
So,
Yep.
oops,
okay. Okay.
sorry. Yeah. So it comes in a bag. This one did really well. Like we like, I guess people love what they can't see, right?
Yeah, you know.
But it's by Brian Stelfreeze, and it's beautiful.
No,
That's
stealth
the
free, awesome, bro. Yeah, bro.
I don't know. My hand isn't just keeps slipping. Whatever.
Well, she does seem to be wet, so it's okay.
Yeah, for issue 3, we got Adam Hughes to do another variant like we did the first in the Kickstarter, and he really killed it. We've got a variant. Well, Andrew Robinson's doing one for issue 4, but we also have another black bagged variant. Now I don't want to say the name yet, but he's one of the industry's biggest names to do a variant for us. It's going to be a nude black bagged variant, so I think it's going to drive fans crazy. So
Love it. Love it. Yeah, man. You guys. All right, so because you guys been in the industry, quite a while, you've seen it all. What's one piece of advice you give some indie creators out there doing comics? Because you take chances with those risque covers, which is pretty dope, and they do well.
My usual advice is to respect what has come before. Be polite and be nice to everybody. And if you got nothing nice to say about someone, nobody's paying you to write it on the internet. Just put your energy into the things you like, and don't spend time on the stuff you don't like, because it just ruins your karma. It just encourage people around you, have some fun, make books that you want to make, and again, be professional, man. The guys that are making money by bad mouthing other people or getting attention, in the long run, they're not respected by their other peers. They're really not, and it hurts their careers. And there's really no reason. No, the words "somebody's art is terrible" should never come out of your mouth, because art is art, right? Everybody
Yeah.
sees something different. You can say the storytelling needs work, and you could say it's not my kind of thing, but you don't have to attack people. And I always say, try not to attack others. Celebrate the art form. Don't become the person that keeps putting it down. I think that's my advice.
I agree.
I
Because
will.
I want to say, I shared a Frank Miller picture on my Comic Crusaders thing, and it was from a recent piece of art he did of interpretation of, I believe it was a Batwoman.
Right.
Man, some people loved it. Oh, he's getting so different. It was more abstract looking. It was different. But some other people, oh, you should stop. It's like, wow, the language. Yeah, I was like, wow, you guys are crazy. If people change their style.
Well,
I
Frank,
thought it looked cool.
it's still Frank Miller, and look, if
Yep,
you don't like it, you don't have to spend time with it, right?
exactly.
If you don't like it, you don't buy it. I mean, it's such a simple thing. really is. Go ahead, Dave. You were going to give some advice.
Oh, I was just gonna reiterate something that you do in the world of kickstarting, and a lot of people don't seem to understand, is don't do a Kickstarter until you are almost done with the book.
Yeah.
You know, so many people do Kickstarters hoping to fund their working on the book, and that never works out. They, you know, and one of the, even if it does work out in the sense that they use that money to finish the book, if you ask somebody to buy something and they don't get it for a year or more, they're not going to come back for issue 2, you know?
Yeah.
So Jimmy does, I mean, you know, granted, you know, Jimmy's in a position where he was able to pay his artist to do the book first and then get paid back when he does the Kickstarter. And that's the smartest piece of advice I've ever heard from Jimmy as far as kickstarting. It just makes sense, you know.
Yeah,
you end up looking like a rock star.
Well, you know, it's everybody working for you. They have families, they have kids, they need to pay bills. I don't want anybody to be in a bad spot if I'm going to hire them. I want them to make sure they're going to do better work if they're not worrying about the rent. And they're going to do better work if they're not worrying about bills or family or money and stuff like that. So I try to help out as much as I can. And we actually have a Kickstarter next week starting. It's a Painkiller Jane GI Zombie one that starts next week. So, but you know, it's I think it's important to understand that you're creating something that we're in a world where people want their everything quick. You want to buy something, you want it delivered to your house the next day. Like we're in a world where people like this. So don't keep people waiting a long time, like Dave was saying, because they lose interest in you real quick. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I've been waiting 10+ years for somebody's Kickstarter.
Who's that? Who's that?
I know the few.
Brigade, 10+ years, still waiting. You know.
What
Yeah,
does he say? What does he say when you ask him about it? What does he say about it?
Oh, books are shipping out. Yeah, sure. How many years still? This all right? This long? You're complaining about going to Marvel parties and not being able to go inside. Well, you can't ship me your book. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, my old studio mate Jason Pearson had a Kickstarter for body bags, but he died before he could finish it. And you know, that's, you know, once again, it's, if you wait too long to finish something, then things happen in your life, you know.
I think I backed that. I don't know if I ever got my money back, but I think I backed it.
Well, I think there, you know, I think he wrote it, then he rewrote it, then he rewrote it, then he started drawing it, then he rewrote it again, and
that's tough.
You know, and he apparently had a lot of really, really tight layouts for the final draft of what he'd written, and I think they're going to try to publish it and somehow make all the people who ordered things, you know, whole, you know, like to give them something. I think that is the plan, I believe. So
yeah, well, if I die during a Kickstarter, I have somebody to back me up.
There you go.
They will give everybody money back if I broke during the Kickstarter.
Yeah. But I'm excited, man. What's the most exciting project you guys are working on for this year? I mean, everything you guys do is exciting, but there's anything that like you're like really like, oh man, this is something I can't wait to show the world.
Well, Jimmy, go first.
Okay, I think right now the Deadly Tales of Gunslinger is my monthly, and I'm having a ball doing it, and it gets crazier as it goes. So I'm really happy with the way that's coming out.
We have a gunslinger here saying that they love it. They love it.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Gunslinger. Gunslinger's on. I saw him on there. Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm having fun with it. It does get crazy. I amp up. It's really violent comic. But I'm enjoying that, and I'm doing. I'm writing with Amanda. We're doing the Harley Quinn Elvira book. And
that's so cool. Yeah, that's a great master. I heard about that.
It's very interesting because Elvira gets to give us notes, and then DC gives us notes, and Dynamite gives us notes. Everyone's giving us notes, and it's very sweet of them for all these little gifts they give us. But it's interesting and it's funny and it's just one of those projects. When they offered it us, we were laughing, and I'm like, really? And then as we're writing it, we're like, okay, this could be good. This could be something different. And then we get all the notes, and everybody wants to make sure everything's. It's chaos, and it's a wonderful chaos that's gonna come out, and I think it might surprise some people how crazy it is, how fun it is.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Go ahead, Big Dave. What's popping?
I recently finished an issue of the Batman Last Halloween that Tim Sale was supposed to do, but unfortunately is untimely death. So I'm issue number 7, right behind Enrico Marini's issue, and that was a huge. For me to come back and draw interiors, and I'm happy with how it turned out. But as far as upcoming projects, it's funny, after we got the initial sales figures for Popkill, I really didn't think like there would be no way to do any kind of a sequel. And I think I've come up that kind of seeing those sales figures, I was like, well, maybe. And so I think I've come up with a fun, unique way to do a sequel. So, it's the brand now and just, everything about it. It's too much fun not to at least try to go back and figure out a logical, not just a money grab, but a fun direction for the story to go. And I'm starting to formulate and write down ideas and try to get this, the story where I think it will be a cool idea. And then I'm going to come and knock on Jimmy's door, and maybe we'll go to a beach somewhere and hammer it out,
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun because I don't even want to give Dave a single idea. I want like you do what you do, and then give it to me. Let me shake it up a little bit. It's fun. That's the fun part is when you're working with somebody else is trying to top each other for the craziness. And I find that that's we get some great products that way. We get great stories going that way.
I definitely want to see like merch branding. You know how the delivery drivers have to wear their shirt, a certain shirt, like the sleeveless button down shirt. I could see you guys doing that with the soda logos.
We probably, Dave, we probably should, when you sell your t-shirts, we should probably just do the bottle cap logo shirts first.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I do have a merch, like a
just
public. Yeah,
just grab the covers and do the logos, and we'll spread the word and we'll get it out there. We can at least, the very least, we can order them when they're on sale.
Well, maybe we can put an ad in the later issues.
There you go. That's a cool idea.
I mean, I only get like $1 a shirt, but I do it just for fun. I just want to make merch. It's kind of fun for me. So
you got
it's not
Douglas
like I'm going to get rich on it.
I'm going to see Douglas next week in Kansas City Con, but he's asking you a question, Dave, about a new art book coming out.
Come up.
Well, speaking of Jimmy, me and him have been talking about the possibility of doing a big art book together. So, maybe doing a Kickstarter, and hopefully people will buy it.
Yeah, we got to come up with an angle, and I got some ideas on that. Dave is Dave's art. You only see the covers, and it's very. Dave's a guy who can do anything. Obviously, from Ben 10 all the way to Batman and the mainstream stuff and 100 Bullets and stuff like that. And I think a lot of it hasn't been seen. People don't understand the range that Dave has. So we'd love to do a book where that kind of pays respect to that. So hopefully that's coming in the future.
Excellent. Excellent. And how many more Kickstarters we getting this year, Jimmy, that you're working on?
This year, I got Painkiller Jane with GI Zombie. That's the next one, and then Probably by the end of the year, just 2 more. One is an art book that I'll talk about when it's ready, and the other one's another story that I worked on. They take a long time and they take a lot of energy, and I'm also writing, 2 steady books right now. So the thing is to only take on what I can handle, you know. Uh, so so it's and I thank God I have guys like like Patrick Wedge who works with me. Patrick helps me out with stuff. Um, but probably two more after this one. That's the tops by the end of the year. I always say if you support only my Kickstarters, it only costs you like $150 a year. It's not too bad.
That's a lot better than shit. Some people could spend that in a day at a comic shop
I
nowadays.
spend it on a dinner
Pricing.
these days.
Yeah.
You go to dinner.
Oh,
You go to dinner in a decent place. It's like 100 and change for 2
I
people.
do that
You can
every
spend that much
breakfast
at
because
just
I
Five Guys.
like to eat eggs. So
Yeah, Dave likes eggs.
Oh,
Eggs at $300. Dave, when he's downtown LA, what he does is he pulls in the pigeons at night and he eats pigeon eggs. But you have to it's like a 30 or 40 pigeon eggs to
yeah.
get one decent sized plate. So he just eats the
Exactly.
pigeons now. He just eats the pigeons.
My mother went to in New York. She lives in New York, and she said she went to the supermarket and she saw that there was some eggs. They were like $6. She goes, but she was like, I wanted to ask the owner. I was looking for them because like are these like pigeon eggs because they were so small. They're not normal size. I don't know if I should buy them.
They might have been.
People
Yeah,
are
they might.
scared.
Some clown in government said we should get chickens in our backyard, and I was laughing. I'm like saying, how many people have a backyard? Number one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
number
live
two,
in an apartment. That would be a lot of fun.
and two, they're kind of filthy animals.
Yeah.
Chickens are filthy animals.
But
I mean,
I will say that my neighbor does raise chicken in her backyard over here. I hear these things
do they
every
give?
morning.
Your neighbor give you eggs out?
Oh no! They're not very nice, and
Okay,
they
because
have
maybe
evil
Halloween,
dogs.
maybe Halloween they'll throw some your way.
That they will definitely do that on Halloween. That's for sure.
No, nobody can afford to do that
Look,
now.
No, I think Amanda has not done a gunslinger cover yet. Neither is Dave. So I want them all to do it. Dave, do you want to do a gunslinger cover?
Sure.
Okay, I'll talk.
yeah,
I'm going to send an email right after this to the editor.
I mean, after I get
excellent.
back from Turkey, then I got to go on to Japan, so I'll have to wait till I
he's
come back
making
from that. So
He didn't even get the job yet, and he's making excuses. What is
I
going
know.
on? Dave is a
See,
world traveler.
you got time over here.
Dave's a
Well, hey,
world
Jimmy,
traveler.
hey, Jimmy, set the story in Japan, and then I can write it off as research.
Oh, okay. Gunslinger in Japan. It would have to be a dream sequence, I guess, because
Love it.
it's a book that's set in the Old West, so it's it'd be tough. I could bring Japan to the Old West easier than I can, but maybe the next pop kill should be maybe go do some research.
Oh,
Ooh,
that is
yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, because they got really cool sodas. My daughter's a fan of all those soda pops from Japan and different things and the little ball. Yeah, I don't know, it's crazy stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Y'all confused me. Just let me open my can. All right.
Yeah, well,
it took me over an hour one time to get to my soda because I couldn't figure out that ball thing. I was like,
yeah, that's the shit.
What do you do? I just want to drink. Like, what the hell? So
it works, son. You got to earn it.
And I am so happy. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
it's
thank
weird
goodness
things where
you
you gotta pop it and pop this ball thing in a glass, and it's
sounds like work.
Oh my god, they make it way too complicated.
If you're dying of thirst in the desert, you would probably die of thirst holding that bottle. They're like, how? Why you die of thirst?
Exactly.
You can break the bottle and slit your wrist so you can just die quicker.
Love it. You guys' energy is amazing. I dig it. Jimmy, Dave, thank you so much for joining me. Folks, Pop Kills is available right now in shops. Okay, if you missed the cover, that's the cover right there. Look at this gorgeous thing. All right, it's in shops now. Number 2's coming in 2 weeks, so don't be playing. All right, make sure you put that on your pull list. pick it up. Man Cave is bringing the business, and a big shout out to Mel for hooking this up. Don't Hide PR. Appreciate you. So everybody tuning in, thank you, Tommy. Everybody, Gunslinger, everybody that was commenting, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for following these two guys because they are amazing. Right? Can't wait for more craziness that they bring along. All right, and thank you
Al.
again.
Thanks,
you guys
buddy.
rock. Hasta la huepa. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit ComicCrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at UndercoverCapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.